it's me, JC, back with another ceramic art live stream. I think, okay, we only have these turtles sitting over here in progress, so I think that's what we will work on today. I mean, I really haven't made any more progress on them since the last time we worked on them on the stream, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Where is that miniature turtle? We had a miniature pendant. See over here? Oh my gosh, he's getting like too dry. Okay, so I need to I still need to carve the shell. So I'm gonna try and dip this in water, and we're gonna try to revive that. I think. I don't think I have anything else that's just kind of nestled in here. I do probably need to water. So these are the turtle shells. Yeah, these are getting pretty dry. Let me see. I think I'll just use my squirt bottle. Sometimes this doesn't quite spray it with enough. I feel like, I don't know. And then we'll flip these over and put some more on the other side. If you've been following along, you may know that this past weekend, on Saturday, I did our local Saturday market. Let me just spray this real quick. Let me take a look. Let me get the angles and stuff. Okay, I think that's good. Let me wrap these up real quick. Maybe dunk the turtle again. Put him in here. Okay. All right. So I did the Saturday market, and it was very bad. It was so bad. Oh gosh. It was so great the first time. Oh gosh, this is really dry. Let me see. Okay, we're gonna have to squirt all of these. So yeah, the first time I did it, it was like a month ago, just about, that I did the Saturday market. It was so great. I sold I wouldn't say I sold a ton of things, but just being there, showing up. I don't think I really have I mean, I don't know if I have any local, local followers, people that would specifically show up to see my work. I don't think I am exactly there, because I'm still trying to get my name out there into the community, and just kind of get a presence, if that makes sense. All of the I typically know I feel like I typically recognize a lot of the ceramic people that have that are at different markets, and whatever, it's the wherever I go to, there's always kind of oh yeah, I've seen this person's work before, I saw them at this market or whatever. It's kind of really good to be able to recognize other people's work and stuff, and I just haven't really been at I haven't really shown at many of the markets or anything in town. So still trying to just, you know, just kind of get like my presence out there other than just on Instagram. I mean, I post on Instagram all the time. Like, I don't know, like PDX artists or, you know, Portland artists, you know, things like that. Wow. This foot over here is it's very different than over here. We need to fix that before we do any other sculpting. You know, just like kind of, you know, people try to get like the local people familiar with my business and the work that I make. And even, you know, possibly get people that, you know, really like my work and, you know, want to show up to events to, you know, check it out in person and stuff. You know, like that's kind of, you know, that's the goal. You know, I would love it to get like a local following, you know, not just trying to sell things online on like Etsy or whatever. So, so the first show made like, I actually only made 3 sales the first time, but they were quite hefty. Like, I think, yeah, like everybody bought more than just one piece, which is just like so cool. But this time I literally only sold one thing. So I did not make the booth fee. You know, lost money being at the market. I'm trying to stay on the positive side because like, it can feel like a waste of time because you're like, you know, I spent money to be here to like have a booth. And, you know, there's a lot of effort that goes into doing a market. Like, it's not just like, you know, showing up and like being there the whole day. There's a lot of time that gets put into it. Like, and that's like, not to mention if you have any like new things that you're doing. Like if, you know, you bought like, like I bought this like banner or like garland or whatever, and then I had to like assemble it myself. Like, I don't know, just like not even including that kind of stuff or like making new signs or like not even including that. Like it's a 12-hour day. Like it's a lot. And like I dragged my partner with me to it. So like, I mean, he's really not getting anything out of it. Like, you know, if I make sales, I'm getting like money out of it. But like, he's just there along for the ride, which is like so nice. But like, yeah, like, you know, get up really early, get there early, set up. The market itself is 7 hours, but you know, you have to get up early, we have to pack the truck, pack up all the stuff, and, you know, setting up the booth, all of that stuff before it actually opens. And then pack it back all up again and, you know, unpack the stuff, unpack the boxes, but then unpack, or like from the truck, but then unpack the stuff from the boxes, like all of that. There's so many things. It really is like a lot of effort. So it is kind of a lot, you know, to not get any kind of like, to like have a really, you know, like bad like sale day. But I mean, there definitely is, you know, kind of like, let me see. I wonder if I should like kind of trace like maybe how I want this to look before I just start trimming. But there's definitely, you know, just like something to be said about like just being there and, you know, trying to gain that like local presence, because even if somebody didn't buy that one day I was at the market, like, you know, they could grab my business card, and some people, like, you know, some people are just visiting, they're not from here, so they could, you know, might not buy in person, but then later buy on Etsy or, you know, wherever I'm selling, stuff like that. Like, you kind of like never know like how it's actually impacting your business, because, you know, you could think like, oh, like I got this sale from this other state, like you would probably just assume that they randomly found you on Etsy, but like, I don't know, maybe it was someone that picked up my business card. There are all kinds of like, you know, possible like situations like that. I kind of feel like after the last market that I did, I got like, I feel like I got like a couple sales like afterwards that, I mean, could be totally random. Like, I have no idea, but they could have found me at the market and then just, you know, bought later. You know, who knows? So I try to stay positive about that. And just like, I don't know, like sometimes, you know, sometimes when I look at people's work, like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I'm not really sure about it. And, you know, if I keep seeing them at markets and they kind of, you know, like they bring like different things, they bring things in like a new glaze color or something. It's like, oh, okay, that's really cool. I really like that one. Like, you know, like sometimes it just kind of depends on like maybe what you're offering. And I really don't have like, I don't have like that much. Like, I would not say that I have a large inventory of things. Like, for example, like I don't have any pink bowls. Like, maybe the people that showed up didn't really like the green bowls that I had, but they were, you know, they wanted a pink one, you know. So then like in that case, like maybe you wouldn't buy that day, but, you know, maybe in the future or something, if they see me and I just have like the right thing, you know, that they're looking for, then maybe they'll make a purchase. Like, I don't know. Maybe this sounds like too fluffy. But I mean, that's kind of like how I feel when I go around and I'm, you know, shopping. Like, I don't know, like sometimes I'll just keep tabs on different artists, you know, what they like currently have just isn't quite right. I'm just, you know, I'm waiting for the right thing, to spend my money on. Especially because, like, I mean, handmade ceramics can be they can be kind of expensive. I also am one of the more expensive ceramic artists at the Saturday market. I don't really know why that is. There are other local people that are, like, that are selling at my price point, but they don't happen to be selling at this market. So I don't know. I do know I need to like look at my pricing structure, but I've just been all over the place, like doing so many things. I just have not gotten to it. Let me see. I feel like these front feet are way bigger than the back feet. So I think we need to kind of fix that. Maybe a bit. Yeah, they're way bigger. I wonder, where should I start? it is pretty dry on this one, so I think we'll maybe put some water on the back, just try to get it to like soak in there. I don't want it to dry out too much, like while we just have it out and working on it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. I was also like really disappointed. So the market that I go to is like super, like what's the word? Like they have a lot of rules. They have like a booklet of like rules. And it's like, it's a lot. And the booklet's like, it's fairly confusing to read. Like, you know, like when I'm trying to read through it, I try to ask like Jason, like, you know, like, what do you think this means? Like, what does that mean? And he doesn't know either. And like, it's not written in just like plain English. Like some of it's just like, I don't know. It's just really confusing. It doesn't, you know, it's just not extremely like clear about like what it's talking about. So part of like, so I'm like one of the newer sellers, and you have to sell like a certain amount of times before you're kind of like you have like a certain like membership status kind of thing. And so while I'm kind of like on probation for this period of time, they come over and like review my booth for like, I think it's like, it says, the booklet says like 4 to 6 times that you know, the first 4 or 6 times you are at the market with a booth. So I had no issues, 0 issues the first time we were there. And I had the same setup this time. And they had issues with what I had. And I was like, what? I was like, nobody said anything the last time. Like, you know, it's just kind of like, I felt like, you know, like I felt like I was doing everything right. And then they're like, I had, and like, I don't know. Okay, for one thing, their website only has the manual from, or, you know, like the rule book from 4 years ago, which is what I've been reading because that's the only one that I've had access to. And apparently there's like a secret spot on their website where they have an updated manual, which I didn't get access to until like my stuff was like juried and I sent in my application and all that. Like after that was accepted, then I got like this new manual, which is like, man, you need to keep your website updated with like all the things. Like what the heck? So yeah, I'm gonna have to make these feet down here like a lot smaller. Maybe we'll make the head smaller. These are really off. So I have no idea if, you know, what I was doing wrong, you know, like it wasn't even mentioned in the rule book that I had been referencing. It's a really big rule book too. It's really big. And it even has like all kinds of like art mediums in there, and it lists off like if you are, or I don't know if this is in the new rule book. I don't think I saw it in there. I don't think I saw it in there. But if you have like a certain like art medium, it has like things that you can't sell like as that medium in there. Like I don't know, like stuff like for ceramics, like you can't sell like bisqueware. You know, like some people, like those paint your own pottery studios and stuff like that, they have bisqueware and then people like decorate them. So like you're not supposed to like sell bisqueware if you like didn't make the mold, which like, I mean, it kind of makes sense. You know, it's supposed to be a handmade market and you should have like made the mold for it. But like every possible like art medium that could be there, they have like rules against like what, you know, like what you can sell. Like that is how like extremely like specific they are about things. Like it is like really intense. It is so intense. So there's a lot in there, and I don't know if I just missed it or if it's not in the rule book that I saw, but they're like, So I had this like little basket out, and you know, if you purchase like $40 or more, you can, you know, get this free little coaster, which like the coasters are something that I used to make. I hand knit them, but you know, I'm trying to change the business to just ceramics. So I thought, like, I have a million of these, like, I don't know, like maybe that'd be kind of like a nice little thing, like a nice little like you know, extra like thank you thing for people, like if you bought like that much, you know, that much worth of my stuff. That was not like a proper sentence. um like, you know, it's just like a nice little thank you. And they're like, did you have this reviewed and like juried? And I was like, no, but I'm not selling it. Like, I thought it was just like stuff that you had to sell. And they're like, well, even though you're not selling it, it has to be, you know, like it has to be like reviewed and approved. And then they're like, this lady was like seriously like on me. She was like, did you make those? She literally asked me like 3 times if I made them myself. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I literally have videos of me making them on my Instagram. I mean, you know, granted, it's from like a couple years ago, but it's there. Like, I have proof I made these, you know? And she was just like looking at me, and like they were like the first people that came by my booth, like the first time I was there, they were so nice. They, you know, they're complimenting, you know, like, oh, like you have such a cute little, you know, setup and stuff, and they're being like so nice. And then all of a sudden, like these people, like all they had to say were like negative things. They didn't say anything, you know, like anything kind of like nice. Like they're just like, okay, well, you can't have that. And then oh my gosh, if you guys have been following for, you know, a bit, I showed you I bought this, like, it's kind of like a gumball machine, but it actually has like a larger slot, and you can put larger, just kind of like, what are they, like capsules inside of it. And my first thing that I was doing was like, you know, putting like a little coupon in it, like, oh, like, I don't know, like buy one get one 10% off or something. And so that's what I was doing. And then they also had like a little like a miniature like toy or whatever in it, just kind of like, you know, instead of just having like a boring coupon, like you also got like this little tiny cute little toy. I thought it was cute. And I get like, they also said like I couldn't do that. I could not hear what the guy said. I think he said it was gambling, but I was like, I literally couldn't hear him, and I was just like so confused in the moment. And like, you know, like I literally already went through this process. They said everything looks great, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden they're just like, they had like all these issues with the stuff I was doing. So I was just like what's the word, like really just thrown off, just like completely thrown off, and just like, you know, just like really confused. Like it all just came out of nowhere, you know, like I didn't even like, you know, like I didn't even think to like say, like when the lady kept questioning me about the mug rugs, like to even say like I have proof that I made these, like it's on my Instagram, like I did make these, like, you know, like I didn't even like, I was just so like distraught, or not distraught, I was just like completely thrown off. And yeah, and then they're like, it's the gumball machine is gambling, and I was like, I mean, I'm not really like good with law things. I mean, just like off the top of my head, I feel like gambling is when you put money in and you don't know if you're going to get anything in return. Like, I feel like that's what gambling is. I mean, I guess I don't know if Oregon has like a different like view on it. But like, you're guaranteed to get something. You know, and like, I charge a quarter. It's only a quarter to like to do this. Also, you know what? I just went to a restaurant here in Portland and they had literally, actually, no, multiple stores here in Oregon have that. So it can't be against the law. Like, there's a vintage store. That's sort of where I got the idea of putting toys in there, because they have a little like gumball machine, and it has like random things in it, like bracelet charms, or there's like mini dice, or like, I don't know, it has a bunch of stuff in it. Okay, so it can't be illegal. It can't be considered gambling, because literally other businesses in town do that. So I was just like, I don't know. I was just completely just thrown off and confused. And now I'm like, what the heck? But I do think, I was reading their manual, and it does say like that you can't, let me just put some water on this. It is like, it's so dry. It needs to be like rehydrated. I did see their manual says like you can't have anything at your booth that is like, I mean, they didn't mention this, but I'm assuming it means exclusively like not including like if it's only for display. You know, like obviously like my banner wasn't handmade, my garland wasn't handmade. Like I feel like, you know, obviously if it's like something that I'm only using for display purposes, it doesn't have to be handmade, but otherwise it does. Which I did have a bowl of Starburst out for free for people to take, and I'm really surprised they weren't like yelling at me about that, because like, I don't know, I guess they didn't notice. I don't know, because that kind of like goes into that like rule, like you can't have stuff at your booth that isn't handmade. Like it even like it specifically says that even if you're not selling it, you're just giving it away. Like even if you're giving it away, it has to be handmade, which I'm like, okay. I don't know, it's so like, that's like, I don't know, it's really specific. Like, did they get some crazy person that's like, if you buy this much of my stuff, you'll get a free motorcycle, or like, you know, like one of those, have you seen, you know, those crazy things you see at the mall or something, where it's like put your email down to get a chance to win this motorcycle, this car or something. Like somebody do that, and now they have this like really oddly specific rule that you can't have things that are like not handmade at your booth. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of a lot, because like, I mean, what would be wrong with having like a bowl of candy at your booth? You know, just like free candy. I feel like there's not really anything wrong with that, but I don't know. They didn't yell at me for that, but I'm really surprised that they didn't. I was just like, oh my gosh. I literally cried afterwards, because like they told me I couldn't do the gumball machine, and I literally have spent like, it's really snowballed. I didn't like anticipate spending like this much money, but I definitely spent like hundreds like for it. And you know, it was just like all of a sudden, like, this is the only market that I'm doing. They said I can't have this here. So I spent all this money, like hundreds of dollars. Like, I mean, the machine itself was like just over $90. So like that's not including like all of the stuff that I bought to like put inside of it, including like the capsules. I mean, maybe like, I mean, it would be like somewhere around like 200 maybe. But it was like after the first time I did market, I went and I bought more stuff for it because I had no idea like how many capsules would fit in it. And I didn't buy enough. So after the first market, I went and bought a bunch of more stuff and like more little tiny toys to put in it. And it made me really, it's still making me like really sad. Because like, it was so fun. Like that is just like, it's just exactly my brand, you know, like it's what I'm trying to get into. With like being like fun and whimsical and like I don't know, like, you know, kind of like speaking to people's like inner child. Like, when I go to, you know, wherever, and they have like a bowl of candy out, like sometimes I'm like, is this for anyone or is this like just for kids? Like I'm kind of like scared to take some, and like literally like so many, like despite that I had a sign there that said, you know, like it said take some candy, you know, because like I'm that person. But if there's like a sign there that says like, oh yeah, you can take some, like it's not just for kids, you know, then, you know, I was just kind of like speaking to people that were like me, and like so many adults like saw it and they're like, can I have some? And I was like, yeah, like like this isn't just for kids. Like I feel like that's gonna be like my slogan for my business, like fun stuff that's not just for kids, because like I want to make stuff that is just like, you know, like I feel like there's definitely that like I don't know like what the word is, like stigma that like adults have to be like serious, and you know, like it's like only like, you know, things that are like colorful are for kids. Like you know, typically if a brand has like you know, a brand has like a lot of colors and like more of a, you know, casual, you know, fun font, then people just like immediately think, oh, like that's for kids. But like, no, it's not just for kids. It's for anyone. Anyone that likes the fun things. The fun, colorful, whimsical things in life. You know, like that's like my brand, and I'm trying to get that across with like the fun things that we're making. Like, I mean, we have like, if you think of a jewelry box, like, what are you thinking of? You're probably thinking of some, like, I don't know, maybe it's like wooden or something, some fancy thing, maybe that your mom had or your grandma had. But like, would you think of a turtle and then you lift up its shell and then that's your jewelry box? You know, like, it's definitely just like not the norm, and not, you know, I just want to bring like more fun and like whimsy into people's lives. Yeah, I feel like that should be my slogan, not just for kids. It's a good slogan. I don't know, something about like the child at heart or something, like I don't know, something like that. I'm trying to come up with a slogan, just like for my business, but I'm still kind of working on it. Thoughts. But yeah, like, and so many people were so, oh my gosh, it was so funny. And like, I was so sad that we couldn't do the bobble machine, because like, it's so adorable. Like when kids come over and like, I don't know, like this is literally me, but like today, not just like when I was a kid. Like if I see like a bobble machine or like, you know, like a crane, like a claw machine. Like, I get like so excited. But like, you know, like when the kids see it in my booth and they're like, oh, you know, they're just like wide eyed and they're like, oh yeah. And you know, it's so adorable. It's so adorable. And you know, like it kind of makes me sad that I can't do the claw machine, or not the claw machine, the gumball machine. I mean, it didn't have gum in it. I don't really know what to call it. Sometimes I call it the bobble machine. They're like little bobbles inside. I don't know. But it was so cute. And like literally so many kids like, you know, would kind of like walk by and I'm like, you want some candy? Jason's making fun of me because like he's like, you should get a van and like give candy out to kids. And I was like, shut up. And it's like I bought the Starburst because I didn't buy enough miniature like toys initially to put in the machine. So I was like, duh. I was like, what can we put in it? Like to just, you know, make it look a little more full. You know, like who wants to see like a gumball machine that's like not even like a third full, right? So I was like, we need to put something in it. So I was like, I don't know, we could do candy. And it's like, okay, what kind of candy, you know, is definitely going to be individually wrapped. I wanted to do like Hubba Bubba because it's like, I don't know, colorful, you know, packaging. It's a gumball machine, gum, like, I don't know, it just kind of goes together, whatever. Like, who doesn't want gum? The store didn't have any. What store doesn't have Hubba Bubba? I'm just like, what the heck? So what we found were a bunch of Starbursts. I mean, like, I don't know, Starbursts are okay. But the reason I got them was because not a lot of candy, like, from the, you know, if you just buy a large bag, you can't see inside it. You can't tell if they're actually individually wrapped or if they just threw them in there. But I was like, I mean, I know the Starbursts are going to be wrapped and like they're pretty colorful and they'll kind of like match with the booth branding. So, but then now we didn't need them. So I took them all out of the bobbles. I spent so much time filling and like taking things out of this like bobble machine. But like kids would literally come by and they'd like see and like, oh, it's just Starburst. So I'm like, I don't know, I don't like Starburst either. But I was like, but they're on brand. But I was just like, yeah, I was literally just trying to give them away, really. And like it did kind of like, it did bring some people over. Some people literally only came over to my booth to get some candy. It was really funny. This one lady, she was like an adult lady. She just like grabbed a handful and then just like kind of like what's the word? I'm so bad at like thinking about words off the top of my head. Like meekish or something. She just kind of like looked at me. She's like, oh, is that okay if I took like a whole bunch? And then she just like scurried away. It was like so funny. It was really funny. Or like, you know, like some people were like, this guy and his friends like came over and this guy, he was just like, he just did that like confused face or like, you know, like with your hands are just like out and you're like, what? And like, that's what he did. And I was like, what? And he's like, can I have some candy? And I was like, yeah. And it was like so funny. Like so many people just like had to like, a lot of the adults like had to ask if they could have some candy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, like this is like totally fine. And it was so funny too. There were these two kids that came over with their I think it was their grandma, and they were like stuffing their pockets with the Starburst. Like they're like grabbing it. I didn't really have like that much out. It was just like it's kind of a small bowl, but But they're just like grabbing as many as they could, and their grandma yelled at them. I'm like, no. She was like, no, just take one each. And I was like, I was doing something, and I was like, yeah, I was kind of like fiddling with like some sign or something, and I was like, it's okay if they want to take more. And like, I don't think they really heard me. She was like, no, you guys are good. There should be a sign here that says one per person. I was like, oh my gosh, Jason keeps laughing about it because they were just like so ready to like stuff their pockets, and they're like, but it says take some candy, not just one. She's like, no, you're just gonna take one. She's like, it was so funny. I don't know, I just like love their enthusiasm because they're like, heck yeah. Like I feel like most people really didn't care that I had Starburst, but like some people were like, heck yeah. It was like made their day. Which is like, that's so fun. Isn't that so fun? Like, you know, like I love it when people have like free stuff at their booth. You know, like I've been to like all kinds of, you know, like whatever, like job fairs or, you know, things like that. And it's like, I don't know, like I always want to go over there and take their candy. I don't know, it's just like a really nice gesture. And like definitely a lot of things like I have not been interested at all, but I went over there for the candy, you know. So it just, you know, it kind of like brings some people in. I mean, not a lot of people I think are exactly quite like me. Like that excited about it. But like, I don't know, it's just so fun, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of nice. I'm really surprised that they didn't yell at me for that at my booth. But yeah, it was like, I mean, we did have some really, you know, some really great points in the day. Just kind of like, typically when I'll send Jason over to grab me some food, and you know, because it can take a long time. Like it can take like 30 minutes or more to get food, depending on like how many people are there. So I typically send him over, grab me some food, and then when he comes back with it, then I just go and like kind of walk about and check out what, you know, if there are any new vendors there, you know, check out what they have, see, you know, do any of the people that I typically check out, do they have any new stuff? I try not to leave for too long because like people ask Jason questions and he doesn't know the answers. But then when I ask him what they asked him, when I ask him what they asked him, he doesn't know. So, yeah. I guess I'll just have to quiz him on like all of this ceramic knowledge that anyone could possibly ask. I don't know. So like I try not to leave for very long because like, I don't know, what if somebody asks him something and like, you know, if they heard the answer, they would be like, oh, okay, and then like buy. But then because they don't know the answer, then they don't buy. Like, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so I did have a little bit of time to like, you know, chat with some of the other vendors that were kind of like around me, and it's kind of nice to like kind of like get a pulse for like how everybody else is doing that day. Like I didn't know until like just like maybe a few days before that there was the Pride Festival was happening downtown also, and like I think it was like multiple events, I don't really know. So I mean, I felt like the traffic was pretty good, But I am kind of wondering if, like, if you're, it's your weekend, you're like, yeah, let's go to the festival. Like, maybe you don't, maybe you're tuckered out and, you're like, nah, let's not go to the Saturday market. We're gonna, let's just go home and, chill out. Like, that would be me. I can usually only hit up, like, one, like, large, like, one kind of, like, event thing a day, because, like, my feet will be killing me. So, I kind of wonder if, like, although there were a bunch of people downtown, I wonder if, like, instead of, like, bringing people, to the market, if it kind of drew people away from it, because instead of going to the market, they went to the other events or something, does that make sense? And they had a lot going on. They had 2 parades. One was really small, but apparently they had 2 parades, and then there's this whole, like, kind of, I don't know, they had a bunch of tents out, and, like, some kind of booths and games and things. Like, it was a lot over there. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, went to all of that and then, was just like, yeah, let's go to the market later. Because it literally happens. The Saturday market literally happens every Saturday and Sunday for, like, March, and then it ends in December. It's really just closed for the winter months. But it's like, it literally happens like every weekend. So I was kind of wondering, like, it's kind of good to, like, talk to some of the other vendors and see, like, how their day was. Like, has it, like, been slower for you? Slower than usual or something. Just kind of, like, get a pulse for things. It was pretty hot. I wasn't that hot in the booth because we had, like, a lot of, like, wind hitting us. We were, like, on the very edge of the market, so we had a lot of wind hitting us. But I wonder if some people didn't want to go out because it was pretty hot out, maybe. That could be a possibility too, because it's all outdoors. The whole thing is, but yeah, oh gosh, sales were, like, just pretty bad. So I'm kind of like, I didn't even have, like, as, like, maybe if you guys know, like, we haven't had a, like, like a kiln batch, a new batch of items in a while. So the last time I was at the market, I sold stuff, and then, like, I haven't replenished, like, the quantity of things that I'm offering. We don't have any new things. So I just literally had less to sell than the last time. So there's also that. I'm kind of wondering if that was kind of like a bit of an impact. Because, like, last time I had the 2 turtles, which drew a ton of people over to my booth. I had the 2 turtles for sale, and then afterwards they sold online. I had 2 more cowboy boots. This time I only had the 1. And then I had, like a mug and a matching cup. So I really only had, like, 4 cups total, I think. I mean, that really is not a lot. Especially compared to, like, some people. Like, the ceramic booth that was next to me literally didn't have enough space for all of their stuff, and they nested, like, all these bowls. They might have just come in a set. I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention to that. They might have just come in a set, but, like, they just had tons and tons of, like, bowls just nested together. Like, they had so many things, and I'm just over here like, yeah. Like, I just feel like it's kind of hard to, like, gauge how much stuff I have. Because, like, I used to sell so many things. Like, the whole, like, variety of things that I used to sell really filled my booth. Like I literally would fill like all 3 of the tables with, you know, like the coasters, prints, paintings, stickers, greeting cards, like the whole, like every, okay, maybe not like square inch. Some people really do crazy, like really fit tons and tons of stuff on there, but it really was like very full when I used to sell that variety. And now I'm just like, I mean, kind of just barely filling up 2 tables this time. So it's like, I don't know, it is a bit different for me in terms of that, because like I've had to change like the whole like setup and stuff, because I used to have all these, you know, like you can't really fit the things that I put like the stickers and greeting cards in, like you can't really fit the ceramics in those. So I've had to like change things up on like how I'm displaying them. But yeah, it's kind of hard to like just visualize like how much inventory I have, because I feel like I have a lot, because things have been sitting for like over a year. Like some things haven't sold in like over a year, so it just feels like I have a lot of things, but like I'm kind of not really like internally visualizing like all of the things I have sold. Like, you know, like I've made tons and tons of stuff, but like we have sold like some number of things like within the year. I don't know, it's just really kind of hard to visualize that on like how much it's going to take up on a table. So I don't know, I was thinking about doing the market like every month, but I'm kind of wondering if we should maybe pivot to the next time doing it in like 2 months, because I could definitely, you know, I could definitely get like a number of things into the kiln by then, and I'll actually have like some number of new things. I guess I don't know how many new things, but I would get new things out. But I'm literally so indecisive, and this is like the worst. And Jason never helps me. If I'll tell Jason what I'm indecisive about, he'll be like, well, it's your choice. Like, he doesn't say anything before that. Like, he doesn't say like, oh, maybe you should do this, and then say, but it's your choice. He just says it's your choice. And I'm like, thank you. Yes, I knew it was my choice. Like, he doesn't give me any opinion, like, whatsoever. He's like, I don't know. I don't know, just like some kind of like unhelpful, like, magic 8-ball. You know, yeah, like like anti magic 8-ball. You know, you ask it a question and it's like, well, you know, it's your choice. You know, and just like, yeah, thank you. I did know it was my choice in the end. Like, like, why did I ask you if you weren't gonna say anything? And then I'll say that. And then he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I don't know either. And then we're just sitting there, like, unsure. Like, both of us are, like, equally unsure of, like, what the heck. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so... yeah, so I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that, but the thing I don't know about is like, when do people stop going to the Saturday market, you know, like, and I kind of feel like, I personally, for the last few years that I've lived here, I only thought it was a summer thing. Like, I only thought about going to it in the summer. Even though, like, definitely at some point I learned that it goes into, like, it goes into the fall also, like, but I don't, like, when it's fall time, I'm not just, like, oh, we should go to the Saturday market. Like, I literally don't even think about going there. So I'm just like, if we skip August and then the next one is in September, but then, you know, there isn't as much traffic in September. You know, we're talking like after Labor Day, like later September. I'm just kind of like, ooh. Like, you know, would we just have another bad sales day? Because, I mean, we're at the end of July. Like, basically a month from now would be the end of August. So, like, you know, like, I don't really... If this was, like, early July, you know, I would have, like, you know, a month and a half, kind of, to get stuff done, get stuff ready for, you know. But, I mean, geez. Geez, I don't know. Maybe I just really try to ramp up production or something. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff that is, bisqued and it's ready to go. I just need to, like, decorate it. But a couple things. People seem to get really excited and, like, you know, kind of like rush over to the booth when they see, like, the underglazed pieces. So, like, this time a lot of people were really they were really interested in the watermelon dish and the cowboy boot. Some people do like the paint palette. Some people, you know, were kind of interested in that. You know, people don't rush over. They're like, oh, look at this striped cup. Like, nobody does that. So I don't know, it kind of makes me feel like I need to do more underglaze things. But then on the other hand, I'm so bad at decision making. On the other hand, the underglaze things are really expensive. Like, you know, they take so much more time to decorate than it is to just, you know, paint on a glaze with a giant brush. I can't dip my glazes because I don't have enough room to just have gallons and gallons of glaze. So I paint them on. But painting on the glaze is, like, not as tedious as, like, you know, trying to do, like, specific designs and underglaze. If you haven't seen my channel, it's basically like this is an underglaze dish. So this one, like, I had to, like, paint on these, like, stripes. I had to, like, paint the strawberries on. Like, all of that is, like, pretty detailed work, as opposed to just taking a brush and then just, you know, really, you know, a giant brush, just coating it with, you know, a single glaze. So I'm kind of wondering, like, should I make more underglaze pieces? Because that's what people really react to. I mean, that's all I can really gauge, because I can't really gauge people's internal thoughts. I mean, people will say, you know, comment on the other stuff like, oh, this is really cute, or, you know, but, like, I can't really tell, like, how much they like it exactly, unless it's, like, really obvious. But the thing is that sometimes Jason thinks that, like, my prices are too high, and compared to the other ceramic artists that are at the market, they are, like, my prices are the highest probably out of ceramics, because, like, nobody at this market does underglaze things, and the other hand, people are not, you know, they're not really pricing their pieces correctly either. So no matter what you're, no matter how you're selling your pieces, what you're supposed to do ideally is to raise your prices to a point. So, okay, so what you're supposed to do. Okay, I need to go in a second. Literally, in like, as soon as I can, I need to go. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look at, look at your overhead, whatever, do that. I don't like have overhead. And then you're supposed to look at like how much it costs you in materials to make the thing. And then in addition to that, get your hourly rate per piece. So that is like the price it costs to make it exclusively. And then what you're supposed to do is times that by 2 so that you are, you can accept things like you can actually do sales. You can run, 10% off, 20% off. Like, you can actually afford to have sales if somebody, approached you and was like, oh, I'd love to have your work in my store, would you do consignment or wholesale? Like, you should be able to say yes. Like, even though I don't have any kind of like consignment or wholesale deals at the moment, like, I should still be charging for that because while I don't do that, I'm doing all of that work on my own. So like marketing, bringing people to my shop, I'm doing that myself. Whereas like if you're working with a store, you're paying them to bring people to your work. They're doing the marketing for you, if that makes sense. And the people at this market do not do that. They, like, this guy was selling his mug for $25. And I'm like, okay, so wholesale is 50-50. Like, and that's like what you're supposed to be, charging at. Like, half of 25, like, what would that be? I'm really bad at like being put on the spot, but half of 25, like, that is supposedly the the price that he would get if somebody had his work like in the store, in their local store. Like, there's no way half of 25, that's your take-home pay to make a mug. Like, they were decent sized mugs too. Like, there's just no way. Like, you're just, also 25 is not a lot for a mug in the first place. Like, on Reddit, they say a typical mug with no extravagance to it should be somewhere like $40 to $50. So I'm just like, man, are you guys, like, some of these people are like undercutting the rest of us? Because like, I want to be at a point where I can put my stuff in a store. And currently I'm like the most expensive person at this market because everybody's like pricing like way too low. I don't know. Anyway, I have to go. So nice to chat with you guys. Let me know if you have any thoughts on what I've been debating here. I'd love to, hear if anybody has any ideas or whatever. If you're watching on Twitch, be sure to follow along. I have all the videos uploaded to YouTube at calieandco. There's a whole live stream playlist with all of them there, because otherwise Twitch deletes them after a week. So yeah, be sure to subscribe and follow along there, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.